Doug Ernst took the time to help me when I had no subscribers because he saw something in me and my ideas. I will never forget that, and I can never thank him enough. Writer, journalist, blogger, and comic industry critic Doug Ernst recently launched an Indiegogo campaign for his Soulfinder Demon's Match graphic novel. Being overseas, crowdfunding campaigns can get very expensive, and I receive my books months after they've been spoiled to death. Needless to say, I'm very selective about which campaigns I back these days. Soulfinder Demon's Match is as excited as I've been to back a campaign in the last year. I'm personally very enthusiastic for the book for many reasons, but today I'm going to name the 5 biggest reasons I'm backing Soulfinder Demon's Match. Doug is a longtime writer, but this is his first time publishing a comic book. He's partnered with 3 seasoned comic industry pros for his debut graphic novel. Brett R. Smith has decades of experience in the comic industry. He's colored on some of the most storied franchises in the industry like Batman, G.I. Joe, Wolverine, and Superman. The past few years, he's worked extensively outside the big 2 in search of creative freedom. He's the co-adapter, editor, creative director, and color artist on the #1 New York Times bestselling adaptation of Peter Schweizer's book, Clinton Cash, a graphic novel, alongside industry legend Chuck Dixon. He's the color artist on the Jawbreakers Lost Souls graphic novel that started the Indiegogo comic boom in 2018. Doug Ernst couldn't have partnered with a more knowledgeable independent comic producer, in my opinion. Brett's also worked extensively with the primary artist on Soulfinder Demon's Match, Tim Lim. He's the creative director and editor for Thump, the First Bundred Days. Brett is also the color artist on Trump Space Force, which was previously funded through Indiegogo. Tim Lim, or as many know him, Donald Thump, is a veteran professional illustrator and political cartoonist. He started in the industry as a merchandising artist and has over 500 designs under his belt for entertainment juggernauts Marvel, Lucasfilm, and Hasbro, among others. He created variant covers for many of IDW's top-selling books before branching out and writing and illustrating his own books. His first fully illustrated title was #1 Amazon bestseller, Thump, the First Bundred Days. He followed it up with Trump's satire, My Hero Magademia, and earned a reputation for sharp, humorous takes on current-day politics. Lim proved he's no one-trick pony with the excellent action series Black Ops USAGI with longtime collaborator Mark Pellegrini. Soulfinder Demon's Match is another opportunity for Lim to prove he's a well-rounded visual storyteller. From the looks of the preview art, he's well on his way to crashing through another glass ceiling. He's successfully crowdfunded 2 books himself and is another invaluable resource for the all-star creative team. Soulfinder Demon's Match features another industry legend, cover artist Dave Dorman. The renowned painter and illustrator set the standard for cover art for well over a decade now. He's created amazing covers for virtually every major comic publisher in the world. He's created breathtaking illustrations for Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Aliens, and Predators during his time in the industry. This art team is as in demand as it gets on the independent comic book scene. Writer Doug Ernst's story really needed to stand out to get them all on board. Doug is a devout Catholic and proud military veteran, as well as a professional writer and journalist. His faith and service to country appear to inspire the story behind Soulfinder Demon's Match. Father Patrick Redder is a Catholic priest wounded in action in his younger days. Redder serves a parish in a quiet town in Maryland. He's experienced with the occult and often aids the local authorities on religious matters. A series of events leads Father Redder to believe a great evil is residing in the sleepy town of Steepleton. During his investigation into supernatural events, he meets a mysterious mentor who introduces him to an ancient order of exorcists who are all combat veterans known as Soulfinders. Redder is hesitant to follow his calling. His encounters with a disturbing cult and the demons they worship may force him to accept his destiny. Redder is tested by giant serpents and humans possessed by demonic spirits during his journey. I can't overstate how interested I already am in this story into the occult and supernatural. I absolutely need to learn more about the main character, Father Redder. The team behind Soulfinder Demon's Match have left a few clues in the promotional art that have me very intrigued regarding the feature character. We know Redder's mentor is a Vietnam War veteran. The vehicle on fire doesn't appear to be that era, so I'm assuming that's Father Redder himself, wounded in action. On the Dave Dorman cover, there's discoloration on the left side of his neck, matching the side of the soldier on fire. We also see Father Redder covering up similar discoloration on his left forearm as someone enters his study. Judging by what I see, his combat wounds must be very extensive. In the Indiegogo promotion, the team says the story explores why do bad things happen to good people. I have to assume this is in relation to the catastrophic burns Father Redder suffered in combat. Wounds like these scar much deeper than what we can see. How has this event affected Father Redder and his faith? Has it marked his relationships with people? Has this event improved him in some areas? He's a priest, so I have no doubts he's very pious. But he's still a man, and I'm very curious how Doug and the team will treat the very serious nature of unseen scars in our war vets. As a 20-year military veteran who served 12 months in Afghanistan myself, I can attest many young men and women return from war with invisible wounds. They affect everyone differently, and everyone copes in their own unique ways. Doug is an Army veteran, and many of his friends fought in Iraq and Afghanistan as well. I know he's lost friends in combat. I imagine this is a very personal story for Doug, and I can't wait to see how he expresses his feelings on the issue through Father Redder. I'm fully expecting to be heavily invested in Father Redder and the Order of Soulfinders after reading this book. The best news is Doug, Brett, and Tim plan to keep working together and expanding the story. If you back Soulfinder Demon's Match, you will receive new stories from this all-star creative team. They have a great working relationship, and all the art from Tim Lim is already complete. Brett R. Smith is finishing up the colors as I speak. Soulfinder Demon's Match is already fully funded and about to cross the $15,000 threshold with over 20 days left in the campaign. Doug Ernst is already outlining the sequel. Brett and Doug are talking about a Vietnam-era book starring Father Redder's mentor. This is just the beginning, and the hottest boy band in comics aren't breaking up anytime soon. I've experienced similar issues with several of the Indiegogo books I've backed so far. They tend to fulfill months late, and the stories are really compressed and don't read well. Tim Lim and Brett R. Smith's Trump Space Force was a few weeks late in fulfillment, but the story was fully fleshed out. They both signed off on the plot in Soulfinder Demon's Match beforehand. They're almost completely finished with the art today. This book is all but guaranteed to fulfill on time and likely early. They're also the most professional team I've personally witnessed. You can email, DM, or at any of these guys on social media, and you will have your concerns addressed snark-free and in a timely manner. I've seen Doug, Brett, and Tim receive countless provocations on social media, and they never take the bait. They always conduct themselves like gentlemen and rarely stoop down to anyone's level. My last reason for supporting Soulfinder Demon's Match is writer Doug Ernst himself. The man has been at the forefront of saving the comic industry for a decade now. His mission to save the comic book industry started on his Douglas Ernst blog. For over 10 years, he's been reporting on the industry and its bad actors. He was calling out Mark Waid and Dan Slott before it became the cool thing to do. He was one of the original YouTubers, along with Diversity in Comics, Captain Cummings, and Anglantine, to push these issues to the forefront of the industry. He's championed many independent creators and their projects over the past 18 months. Soulfinder Demon's Match is Doug's rejection of the status quo currently destroying an American institution. He's promising a return to the classic hero's journey with a focus on quality writing over ideology and politics. Doug has been on the front lines of the culture war for a decade. He's surrounded himself with the most professional team available. There are 3 things you can count on in America today: death, taxes, and Doug Ernst will hold the comic industry to the fire until it's saved. And I would be remiss if I didn't tell you about my personal interactions with Doug. He's a friend and mentor. When I told him I was creating my own YouTube channel, he gave me a fantastic rundown of the tools I needed and helped me find my voice. His feedback was invaluable to Thinking Critical being the channel it is today. I'm not a huge success by any means, but I've experienced tremendous growth while maintaining my dignity. I 100% believe my channel features some of the best produced comic industry content available anywhere. I wouldn't be here with a steadily growing channel without his mentorship. He's a very busy man with his own channel to produce. Doug Ernst took the time to help me when I had no subscribers because he saw something in me and my ideas. I will never forget that, and I can never thank him enough. There you have it, folks. My 5 reasons to back Doug Ernst, Brett R. Smith, and Tim Lim's Soulfinder Demons Match Indiegogo campaign. The creative team is first-rate and has decades of experience in the industry. The story is very exciting and appeals to a wide reading audience. I expect Doug to flesh out Father Redder perfectly and pay tribute to those with unseen scars. Doug, Brett, and Tim are the newest band on the scene, and they happen to be great friends. They aren't breaking up anytime soon. Finally, Doug is a great guy that's been fighting for comic consumers for years. It's time to pay it back and support him and his debut comic. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.